Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I'm going to take all these bits and pieces, and my hope is to make I guess I would call it a tag booklet. That's what my thoughts were. So I was digging around and I found this piece of paper that has seen better days. It's got some scuff marks on it, but I thought it would be good to make it my base. I'm going to take this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and I'm going to trim it just a little bit to be my tag base, because I plan to put it inside of a little flip book that I'm making, and I think what I want to do is just trim off about 1 inch off of here, because I don't want it quite as wide as it is currently. And next what I'm going to do is take this and fold it in half on the big side, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to crease that. So my idea is that I'll have a little booklet here that I'm going to shape like a tag by cutting the top. But first, I think I want to attach another piece of paper on here. So let me look here. I've got some other bits and pieces. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this in the tag shape. So all I'm going to do is basically just cut off one corner, and then I'm going to take this piece and flip it over and put it on the opposite corner, and that helps to ensure that I have the same angle on both sides. So now I've got that part. So I'm just kind of looking at this, and I think what I want to do is I've got a scrapbook page here that I pulled out that I thought was kind of cool. And I don't need it on the whole thing, so I'm going to trim this piece here. I'm just using my Fiskars paper trimmer. Let's look at this. So if I trim this to be just a little smaller. Okay. I'm not really measuring, I'm just eyeballing it to see how I want to do this. And I think I'm going to trim this off just a little bit shorter than my tag. And I'll save this bit. This becomes something. It may become a pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to push this tag up, or piece up, and I want to have the same angle, so I'm just lining it up kind of straight, and then I'm going to use this as a guide to trim off the excess, and that should fit right there. So I'm going to take some distress ink and add that to the edges of this. Alright, so I think what I want to do, because I want this to be a little bit of a pocket here on the front, right here. So what I'm going to do is go to my sewing machine. I'm going to zigzag stitch around this piece only, not attaching it to my tag, so that I can glue it where I want and have the stitching detail, and it won't be sewn down to my piece of paper. So I'm going to sew that, and I'll be right back. I went around this just adding some stitches just because I thought it would look kind of neat. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this, and I want to make sure to leave this side open. So I'm just going to take my Scrap Perfect glue and go right here on the edge all the way around, except for the side where my thumb is at the moment. And I'm just centering it onto my tag shape that I've made, and pressing to get that glue to adhere, wiping off any excess glue. So that will have a little pocket here on the front when it dries that I can put things in. And I think what I want to do this piece is make a pocket on the inside. So I'm going to do some stitching around this piece as well, and I'll come back. Alright, so I've sewn around that. I'm going to use some Vintage Photo Distress ink and just go around the edge, just giving a little vintage look to it. Again, I'm just on my projects that I'm doing. I'm trying to use up what I have in my stash. Some of it are scraps or bits and pieces left over from other projects, and I'm just trying to use it up in my projects. I'm going to go ahead and do some distress ink around the tag portion as well. Okay, I've decided that I've got another scrap here, and I want to make two pockets. So there'll be a pocket here and then a pocket here. So I'm going to trim this piece to be the same width and then a nice little height there. And this is going to go behind. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do a zigzag stitch around these three sides. You're not going to see the side down here at the bottom because that's going to be adhered down underneath this other one, and that'll give two little pockets right here. So I've gone around this one, I've gone around this one. I think what I want to do is go ahead and adhere it down. So I'm going to take the glue again, and I'm going to leave an opening at the top. So I'm going to go down the sides and across the bottom and back up the other side. Now I'm placing the top one first because I want to have a pocket on the bottom, and it's kind of hard to put something underneath. And I'm just bringing the points down just a little bit here on the sides. I want to make sure that there's not any glue seeping out here on the bottom, and just in case, sometimes it does. So I've got the little Perfect crafting pouch here. It's got a powdery substance in it that if there is excess glue, it will attach itself to that glue and then it won't stick to your projects. Now I'm going to apply glue on this piece in the same fashion. I have a piece of paper I've just been playing with that I folded. So basically what I did was about 1 inch from the bottom I folded, and that would be a mountain fold. And then I did a valley fold about 1 inch away. Then I did another mountain fold, and then a couple inches, maybe 3 inches, probably 2.5 inches. And then I did another mountain fold. Here, I already said that. And then 1 inch away, I did a valley fold. And now I've got a pocket here, and a potential pocket up here at the top. So I'm going to trim this to fit, and I think I want to place this right here on this side of my little tag. So I've trimmed that off. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew across here, and across the top, and then down the sides and across the bottom to give it a nice decorative touch, and it'll define each of the pockets. I've done the sewing. I wanted to explain that this was an old book page that I used in my Jelly Press Playtime video. So this is one of the pieces that I made, and I decided it would go with what I'm working on today. So now what I'll do is I'm going to glue it down like it was a pocket on 3 sides. Well, I've got 3 sides started with various pockets. Let's see what we can find to put on the back side of this. I have this page from Calico Collage that was left over from doing a mermaid tail junk journal. And I think what I want to do is place this on the back side with a belly band on it. So I'm just looking at it, and I think if I trim this right about here, that'll make it a nice narrow little page that can come out to be journaled on. So I'm just going to get up here, and I'm eyeballing it. I'm not measuring. So that would fit on here. And what I need is a belly band to go on there. So let me see what I have scrap-wise. This is a book page that has a little bit of a napkin and some painting on it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this on here. I'm going to fold over the top just so that it has a little more strength. I have this piece of cardstock left over, and I think I want to adhere these together just so that it's strong enough And when you're taking pieces of paper in and out, it won't tear so easily. So I'm going to cut this end off. And I'm slipping it under the piece that I folded over. And then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and add some zigzag stitching on that. I've attached the cardstock to the back so it's a lot heavier, and I'm going to add some distress ink around this, and then I'm going to glue to the tag booklet that I'm making at the top and the bottom of this strip. So this will flip underneath here, so we've got a little booklet there. It'll kind of stick out. I think I may go ahead and trim it one more time. Trim some of that height off. Then it won't stick out. So this can open up and slip over. So that kind of gives you a little decorative touch there. Let's go ahead and start adding some things to this. So let me work on the inside first. So I've got some pockets and I want to add some things. I took one of the triangular pieces and went ahead and sewn around it because I thought it could be a tiny little tuck spot. So we're going to add a little bit of glue here, and I want to put it over here in this corner. Just adds another little element there. And then I have the Paper Studios tag punch, and I have a scrap of pink cardstock that I used for matting another little journal card. And I'm going to slip this up in here, and it's really simple. You just press, and now you have a little tag. I'm going to add some distress ink to the edges, and I'm just grabbing some ribbon that happens to be on my desk. I'll make a little piece of this and slip it through this little tag hole. And then I had some of these little surfboard stickers that I used in a project that I've already shared. So I'm going to add one of those right here, and then this little tag can go in there. And then I have a journal card that I made. This is a Calico Collage Summer Paradise image, and I have added some glue to, I'm trying to add words together and make a new word, y'all. So I've added some tulip dimensional fabric paint, and that's all over this part of the image and up here on the flowers. And I just thought that made it kind of pretty. So I want to stick that in here where it kind of sticks up a little bit. Got one there. So what can we put over here? I've got another one that I made. So I'll put one right here. Now let me dig around and find some other journaling cards and things that I can tuck into this, and I'll be right back. While off camera, I found a scrap of paper in my stash, and I sprayed some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, did a zigzag stitch, and then attached a tiny scrap of fabric to be a tag. So I've already shown you this card and this card. Over here I have one of these little envelopes that I stamped on and then add some distress ink. And then this was a leftover project from one of my junk journals. That's a stamp of a little notebook paper. So I placed that here and here. And then the piece that I cut from this pocket over here, I thought, well, it looks like it could be a tag. So I just cut the tops. I'm not going to put a ribbon on it. I just went ahead and just cut it as a tag shape, and I'm going to slide that in there. Then I added a sticker on here. On the back side, I had some elements left over, so I made a little quick altered paper clip that fits right over the top. So I just used a rubber stamp that had been embellished, painted with some glitter and a scrap of a hymnal, and then I have a little label punch. And I thought, well, that will just look kind of pretty as a little decorative element that is also somewhat flat. I didn't want a whole lot of bulky things on here. I want it to be relatively flat. The front, I went ahead and I stamped Life is Better at the Beach and did a little stitching and added some distress ink. And I think I'm going to add that right in here. I'm just going to add a little glue to it. It's not going to be a pocket or a tuck spot, just a label on here. Put it right about there. Stuck to my finger because I had glue on my finger. And then I have another one of these little surfboards, so beach surfing. So I'm going to put one right about there. So there is my little tag booklet. Oh, I haven't shown you on the front. I had a journaling card. I think this was a Project Life journaling card, and I sprayed it with Tattered Angels and then sewed another piece of that scrap of fabric that I had left over, and that is a little pocket right here in the front. And then we flip it over. We have a tag here, and a little journaling card. So of course this is got plenty of room to add more little journaling cards to it. We have one here, 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 and here. So we have lots of options. And then of course the back side has this page out of Calico Collage. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing, my using some scraps, just kind of freeform going with it. Not really thinking too much other than trying to use my scraps, and just happen to get perfect placement with that seahorse on there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Come on and share your projects that you're using for the Use It Up July with that hashtag. I'd love to see what you're creating. If you like this video, share it with your friends so that others can see it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Check out the description box for links to my social media, including my blog, as well as my Facebook groups. And then leave a comment. Tell me what you're working on. What do you have an abundance of in your stash that you need to use up? Well, I hope you're enjoying this little series that I'm doing for the month of July. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day. Bye.